we are delighted to have 2023 Piper of the Year winner in the Pipedrums New Year's Honors, Breeja Campbell, with us today. Breeja, really delighted to have you. It's terrific. We've been following your career, and congratulations on your award.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be chatting with you.
That's great. And so, maybe, when you took up the Highland Pipes, did you imagine that it would turn into the kind of career that you've had so far?
No, not really, I suppose. Um, I guess the kind of career part of it came into my head more when I was older, when I won the Radio 2 Young Folk Award. That kind of catalyzed the path of playing at like folk festivals and things like that. And um, yeah, so I hadn't necessarily thought of it as a career up until that point. And even then, you can never predict where it's going to take you and the people you play with and what recordings you release and stuff. So you kind of just go with the flow and yeah, it kind of your goals just build up over time as you kind of get more used to performing and collaborating with people.
Excellent. And when you did start, not too long ago, you competed pretty regularly in the Highland Pipes and around the games and things very successfully. Um, Now you've seemed to have moved away from that. Do you ever see yourself going back to competition on the Highland Pipes?
Yeah, I might do. It holds dear in my heart as well. I learned a lot from competing. My first teachers are great competitive pipers, Neil Stewart and Ian Spears, and I hold a lot of respect for those players. At the minute, I am kind of most of my music is on the small pipes, so that is definitely kind of my main focus of piping at the minute. But yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's good to hear. The Highland piping community would love to see you compete maybe in the future. But following your career closely, and the small pipes, especially, you experiment with different tunings. On your latest album, Carry Them With Us, a lot of different things going on with the sounds that you're getting. Do you think there's room for that on the Highland pipes as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the small pipes and the Highland pipes, it's all the same concept, the same technique. The kind of sound world of Carry Them With Us is mainly focused on the drones and the kind of atmosphere that that creates. And obviously, that's a huge part of the Highland pipes as well. Um, I think it could be quite interesting to explore that. At the minute, what I love about the small pipes is just kind of that mellow tone, and I just love exploring that mellowness with other harmonies and the drones of the small pipes. Um, but there's no reason why yeah, you could work with that type of sound on instruments with the Highland pipes if you wanted to.
Yeah, and we are, hearing that John Mahorn's last album did a lot of that experimentation as well, kind of in an avant-garde way. It could be interesting to watch. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
yeah, it's great to see, you signing on with an independent label, music label, Rough Trade, recently. And you're collaborating. You collaborated on the last album with multi-instrumentalist Colin Stetson. Um, Maybe talk about that process. Working with someone who might not necessarily understand completely, the inner workings of small pipes or Highland pipes or any kind of piping. What was that
Yeah, I
like?
think from my point of view, what was interesting about working with Colin is playing these traditional tunes, but working with kind of a different viewpoint of where they come from and what they sound like. So obviously I've been rooted in piping since a very young age. So kind of working with someone who isn't a piper, it really broadens your musical mind a lot and kind of pushes pushes you outside of your comfort zone, I suppose, outside of the box, um, which I really love to do. Um, but yeah, Colin was an absolute dream to work with, you know, and he really brought the sort of sound world I wanted in my head. He really brought it to life.
Yeah, were there any times with Colin Stetson where, he was wanting you to do something that you didn't think was possible, that you had to sort of back up or explain that it's not possible, or for that matter, find a way to make it work?
But I think it was quite a natural process, like the way we collaborated felt natural. Um, if easy is maybe not the right word, but it felt right, if you know what I mean. Um, so it wasn't really challenging in that way, but I suppose what's interesting is maybe I would be thinking of a tune in a certain time. So like I would think the main beat was in a certain way, but Colin was hearing it in a different way. So that kind of differences, that was interesting in terms of where the arrangement would go.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting. It's always fascinating to see where so-called other musicians, outside of the piping world, how they perceive the sound and the instrument itself. I think our experience is that they're very attracted to the sound and they really want to work with the various sounds that the various pipes bring, but maybe not understand how to to get in touch with pipers or work with them. So it's great to see. Uh, all right, Breja, let's stop at that for part one, and we'll get back together for part two. So let's stay
All
tuned for
right.
that.